Hello everyone, welcome to Global Online University, and here we are back with NTA UGC Net Paper preparation for paper 2, that is 2022 batch, and the topic we have started with is management. We have started with our paper 2 lectures. Last week we have completed lecture number 1. In the description box you will find the link for the first lecture of management, and today we are going to start with the second lecture of management, for which the topic will be approaches to management. So before we go ahead with our lecture, let's quickly understand the biggest announcement by Global Online University for UGC NTA Net Paper 2 preparation for the subject management, and the new batches are going to start from 1st of Jan 2022. Now, what are the special features and benefits of these batches? First of all, you will be having 100 plus video lectures which will be covering all the topics. Each and every unit and subunit will be covered. We will also conduct Maha Marathon on each and every unit, which will be consisting of 100 plus MCQs, which will be dedicated to the subscribers specially. So dedicatedly, it will be considered only for the students who are the subscribers of Global Online University. We also have notes booklet in the form of PDF, which will be given for all the topics. We also have practice questions, previous year question papers in the solved format. The mock test will be taken as a revision after the completion of syllabus, which also will consist in total more than 2,500 MCQs. Now, this will definitely help you to enhance your practice for your paper one as well as paper 2. So we are taking care of paper 1, but at the same time, paper 2 management students can gain now confidence that here their preparation for paper 2 also will be very well done. All this, what material you will be getting, it will be having a validity of 1 year. Fees for the same is just rupees 5,000. You can also go on Global Online University app, which you will find in the Google store, and you can select the category as management and can get in touch with the course. If you have any queries or any doubts, you can get in touch with the given WhatsApp number, and it will help you to sort out any queries or doubts if you have related to this particular concept of management or product of management. So now, before we definitely we are going to start with the topic. As I said, in the last lecture we have completed the concept of meaning of management. We have studied the concept of management. We have studied what are the various functions of management. So in this today's class we are going to take in detail one topic, because the topic is very lengthy, and there are questions seen on this again and again, so we will do it in detail. So let's now first understand what is the topic for the day. So the main approaches to the organization structure and management. So here we are going to emphasize the approaches towards the management. So basically there are 4 approaches for the management, which is divided as classical, human relations, system in the form of system theory, as well as contingency. Okay, so let's understand. We will come to the slide once again at the end, because this slide is like a revision. So we'll first understand all these approaches one by one, and at the end we will come to the slide to go for a gist or for a revision. So let's now start with the classical approach. So by the name itself, okay, classical. So it means something which is very traditional, which is very, a basic approach. So these approach presents the organization in the term of what? In the term of purpose and formal structure. Now, these sentences are very, very important, because you will be having questions from this. Classical approach, it presents what type of structure? So obviously it presents a formal structure with a purpose, a reason, a aim. And not only this, it emphasizes on planning of the work, technical requirements of the organization, if any, principles of management. And principles are nothing but the basic function, the rules of management, assumption of rational and logical behavior. So what is the speciality of classical approach? So classical approach works, or it represents the purpose and formal structure. Apart from this, it is emphasizing more on what the planning of work, the technical requirement, the principles of management, and assumption of rational and logical behavior. Now, this particular type of approach, the analysis of the organization was actually carried out initially with the help of the writers, management scholars, that is Taylor, Fayol, Uric, Moni, Roulet, and Bridge. So sometimes this question can come as which of them management scholars were associated with the approach. Now, a clear understanding of the purpose of an organization is seen as essential to understanding how the organization works and the methods of working. So here, what is the purpose? We have underlined over here purpose. So purpose is how the organization works and how its methods of working are, and it can be improved. Apart from that, there is an identification of general objectives which will lead to clarification of the purpose and responsibilities at all the levels. Now, we know very well there are 3 levels in an organization, that is top level, middle level, and lower level. So for all these levels, the objectives are being set and clarified with the help of classical approach. Here, now very important sentence: attention is given to what? That classical approach leads to or gives attention to division of work. So that is, dividing the work. It's one of the, if you remember, this is one of the Henry Fayol's principle also. Henry Fayol has given 14 principle, out of which one was division of the work as per the specialization. So that is a part of what classical approach. It clearly defines the duties and responsibilities and maintaining the specialization and coordination. So you should be very clear about this. Any point can come in the form of match the following, or codes can be given, and you have to highlight those things. Emphasis is given on hierarchy of management, because we have studied over here, it is basically for all the levels. So hierarchy of management and the relationship. So this is how classical approach work. Now, if we go a little bit further, classical approach has set certain principles. The principles are in the form of coordination, scalar principle. Now, what is this scalar principle? I'll explain you this in detail. The functional principle. So when we talk about coordination, it is basically the unity of action, the authority, and the discipline. So if you want coordination, it comes with what? Action, exercise of authority, and the need for discipline. And when we talk about scalar principle, it is something where the hierarchy of an organization, grading of duties, and process of delegation works out. So if I show you in the form of diagrammatic representation, so we have employees indicated as A, B, C, and D. Then we have an employees indicated as E, F, and G, for example. So if A hasn't worked with G, so A can't directly contact G, okay, because there is an hierarchy. So A has to inform to B, B to C, C to D. Then it will, means it is top to bottom, and then bottom to that bottom to top, and then top to bottom. But in this process, what happens? A lot of time goes, and important work can't be done because of this hierarchical positions. So in that case, scalar principle is a principle which gives you a liberty to contact. A can contact easily G and can get the work done. So this is, it is about the process of delegation, which gives you a free hand, and then you can accordingly inform your subordinates or your higher people once the work is, delegated. The functional principle talks about the specialization between or distinction between different kinds of duty. So under the classical approach, we have seen subgroups in the form of in the form of scientific management and bureaucracy. So the subgroups of the classical approach are divided into 2 parts, that is scientific management and the bureaucracy. So when we talk about scientific management, let's understand what scientific management emphasizes on. So it emphasizes on the problem in order to increase the productivity from the individual worker through the technical structure. Now, see, I've highlighted all the important points which are used for that particular topic. So scientific management, which emphasizes problem, what is the intention, that is productivity of individual workers with the help of technical structure, and the provision of monetary incentives as the motivator for higher levels of output. So yes, the incentives in the form of money, which will motivate, the higher levels of output. Now, your major contributor to this approach is Fayol. So scientific management is the approach which was highly because of Fayol, who is the father of scientific management. He believed, that is Frederick Taylor. It's not Fayol, it is Frederick Taylor. So scientific management, the more emphasis is given by Frederick Taylor, who is called as the father of scientific management. And he believed that there is a best machine for each job, and best working method by which people should undertake the jobs. Okay, so it is best machine and the best method. If implemented, the best job is done. He considered that all the work process should be analyzed as per the task with the help of scientific method. That is one of the best way to perform a task. Each job should be broken down into the components, that is, division of work. Each part-time and parts rearranged in the moon is the most efficient way of working or getting the job done. So scientific management, if you get the questions, it is basically on the problem to increase the productivity from and to look from individual worker. Okay, that is technical structuring can be done, wherein money is one of the incentive, and the motivation is given with the help of this incentive. Taylor, the father of scientific management, is the one who has the major contribution for this type of approach. According to him, the best machine and the best method brings out the best job. Going towards the principles to guide the management. So the principles is the development of true science, that is nothing but scientific selection, training and development, which helps a lot to get the work done. Cooperation to ensure that the work is carried in a prescribed way, and division of work and responsibility between management and workers. So this is how the scientific management emphasizes on this points. So you can get this point in the form of assertion, reasoning, match the following. So you should be very clear when you are getting the topics, and you're going for the approaches and theories of management. Bureaucracy. Now, when we talk about bureaucracy is nothing but basically the rules and regulations. It's a structure which is found in many organizations. Now, its importance is to development of the organization theory, means it is often regarded as subdivision under the classical heading, which such as a separate approach to management and organization of work. So the basic ideas and principles of the classical writers were derived from the practical experience. So bureaucracy basically is something which was practically implemented in the form of bringing discipline towards the work. So in that sense, let's see what are the characteristics of bureaucracy, because you may get a question on this. So it is, emphasis were given on the experts, that is rules of experts, and the administration on discipline, that is rules of officials. So let's see what are the characteristics of bureaucracy. The tasks of the organization are allotted as the official duties among the various positions. So it is like it gives more emphasis on discipline. Clear-cut division of labor and a high level of specialization. A hierarchy authority applies to such type of organizations which are bureaucratic in nature. Uniformity of decisions and action is achieved with the help of rules and regulations. So together with the structure of authority, it helps coordination in order to get the activities done. Here, an impersonal orientation is expected from the officials in their dealings with clients and other members. And it is basically designated to perform the duties. So the work should happen, but with the defined manner, defined pattern, rules and regulations. And yes, here it is based basically on technical qualification, which should constitute a lifelong career for the officials. So bureaucrats, bureaucracy basically it emphasizes more on rules from the experts as well as from the officials. So now if you see, we have divided that into 4 features. Okay, so these are the characteristics, but to easily understand this characteristics, we can divide it into 4 major headings. One is specialization, okay, hierarchy of authority, which we have learned just now, system of rules, and impersonality. So when we say specialization, that is a person with a specific skill and knowledge taking or carrying out a job. Authority, that is a distinction between administrators and managements, okay, which should be clearly mentioned and maintained. System of rules, that is the rules to get the work done, the rules to get bring efficiency for the operations. Impersonality means the allocation of the privileges and exercises of authority, which should be in accordance to the system or rules which are laid down. So here actually the classical approach gets over. So if you go back to the slide and see now, classical approach gave you what? So this is just an gist, or that is just revision for classical approach, which emphasizes on purpose, on formal structure, hierarchy that we saw in bureaucratic, also scientific management, also technical requirements we saw in bureaucratic also, as well as we saw in scientific management. Importance was given to the techniques or the way the work method and the common principles of organization. So this is what more focuses on classical approach. Now let's go to human relations. So under human relations, the first thing which was basically this particular phase appeared, after the 1920s, where there was a Great Depression. So in order to, bring the concentration to the work as well as the behavior of the employees, there was an experiment conducted, that is the Hathron experiments, which were basically on the development of human relation movements, that is the behavioral and informal alternative headings, which were given to this approach. So the experiment was conducted, was called as Hathron experiments, which was conducted at Hathron plant of Western Electric Company, which is near Chicago, America. And the publication of the research findings were, among the people who wrote about the Hathron experiments was Elton Mayo. So he was the one to come up with this 4 phases of Hathron experiments, that is illumination, relay assembly, interviewing, and bank wiring. Now this normally they have been asking you in the sequence also. Many times these questions on Hathron experiments are seen. So you should be very clear with this Mayo's 4 phases, that is illumination, relay, interviewing, as well as bank wiring. So this is very important. Questions are seen on this topic very well. So if you go to the slide and see, human relation basically emphasizes on what? On the social factors such as, work, the leadership, the group, informal organization, and behavior. Behavior was a very important aspect of human relation. Now let's see the next approach. The next approach is in the form of system approach. So here the attention has been focused on analysis of organization as system with a number of interrelated subsystem. Now what exactly this means? So the classical approach, we just saw that it emphasizes more on technical requirement and the organization without people, whereas the human approach talked about psychological and social aspects and consideration of human needs, people without organization. But in system approach, the basic, it attempts to reconcile the earlier 2 approaches. And the work of, formal and informal writers, that is attention was more focused on total work, organization, and interrelationship of structure and behavior. Okay, and the range of variables within an organization. So this approach basically contrasted with a view of organization as a separate part, which encouraged managers to view organization as both as a whole or as a part of a larger environment. So the idea was, which of any organization activities which affects the rest of the part. So here the organization was considered as a whole as well as part also. So if you see, if you go to the system approach and if you summarize the integration, that's what, see, classical was an individual way, human relation was an individual way, but system approach, what it did, it integrated classical and human relation approach. I mean, importance was given to the society, that is social as well as technical system, and the organization with its external environment, within the external environment. So this was the major aim of what? It was a major aim of system approach. Now let's talk with contingency approach. So this is the last approach of management. So as per the contingency approach, the classical approach suggested one best form of structure and emphasized on sets of principle. Now when we talk about human relation, it gives little attention to structure. Now in contrast to this two, contingency approach, contingency, it means something which is, prevailing now. It showed a renewed concern with the importance of structure as a significant influence on organization performance. So structure has an influence on the performance of an organization. So it was an extension to the system approach, which highlighted the possible means of differentiating alternative forms of organization structure and system. So there is no one optimum state. For example, the structure of the organization and success are dependent, that is contingent upon the nature of the job or the which is designed to deal with the nature of the environment it influence. So it contingency approach, and it's nothing but a type of approach which is an extended approach to what, which is an extended approach to your system approach. So integration of classical and the human relation approach gave you something called as what, system, and extension of system was something gave you called as extended contingency. So now if you see the diagram, so contingency, no best design, no one best design the organization. That is the form of structure or the management or success of the organization depends upon the situation variables. So now when we summarize this particular concept of approaches of organization, so basically there are four approaches: classical, human relations, system, contingency. So basic thing, I mean, what should come to you as a bigger picture, that classical approach, which was one which emphasized more on structure, hierarchy, and techniques. Okay. Human relation gave importance to behavior, leadership, whereas system made a combination of classical and human relation and gave importance to the social technical system, okay, within the external environment. And contingency said that no best design is there for an organization. The structure, the management, and the success all depends upon the situation, as per the situation. So it varies according to the situation. So yes, this is what topic we have understood in this particular lecture, that is approaches. So in next lecture, we'll definitely go for theories of management. So all those who are, as I said, you can just go on for the Global Online University app, wherein you can select the category as management category and just see the content. Okay. And accordingly, you can just enroll yourself for the course. So that's all for the day. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next class with the topic that is theories of management. Thank you.